start off our cake, we're going to add a dollop of buttercream right on our cake board to act as a glue so our cake layers don't slide around. In between the layers, we're only going to add about a half a cup to a cup of frosting. You don't want to add too much because then it'll start to bulge on the sides of the cake. And then just use your offset spatula to spread the frosting out to the sides and create a nice even layer. Then you'll repeat the process for each layer. You'll notice that I'm using an Oreo buttercream for the inside of my cake. You can certainly use vanilla, or if you'd like to use the Oreo buttercream, just add about a quarter cup of Oreo crumbs to a cup of frosting. If your layers look uneven, just give it a little nudge before we start our crumb coat. I usually like to start by locking in the cake layers with the frosting. This just helps prevent the layers from sliding around and keeps the cake nice and stable. And we'll use our bench scraper here just to make sure the cake is smooth and we don't have any jagged edges sticking out of the cake. And with the offset spatula, we're just going to pull the overhang right towards the center just to clean up the top edge. And if there's any frosting that got onto the cake board, just use your bench scraper and scrape it right off. So now we're going to start our ombre color effect. We're going to start with the darker teal color right on the bottom and do it all the way around, making sure you have a nice, thick, even layer. And then we'll do the same process for the top using the lighter teal color. Now we'll start using our bench scraper to get a nice smooth coat. Hold the scraper at about a 45-degree angle to the cake and slowly spin the turntable around. And you can start to blend in the two colors together right in the middle where they meet to have a little bit of a more natural ombre effect. After a few turns around the cake, you'll start to notice areas that need to be filled in with more buttercream. So go ahead and fill in any spots that you see, and then once you're done, you can just continue to use your bench scraper and repeat the process until you're satisfied with how it looks. You can heat up your metal bench scraper under hot water, and this will help give you a much smoother look. And use your bench scraper again just to clean up any buttercream that got onto your cake board. Now while the frosting is still wet, let's add the sprinkles to the base of the cake. Grab a handful at a time and just gently press it into the base of the cake. And once you're satisfied with the amount of sprinkles, go ahead and chill it in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes. You can also chill it in your freezer as well. So while our cake is chilling in the fridge, let's prep our piping bags. Let's take the 1M tip and drop it into the piping bag with the tip facing down. Score the bag with scissors so you know exactly where to cut it. To fill the piping bag, I like to use the tall cup to help me when I'm filling the bag. It just makes the whole process much easier, especially if you're adding more than one color. So go ahead and add the darker teal on one side and the white on the other side. Then pull the bag out and start to guide the frosting down towards the piping tip. By now your cake should be chilled enough, and now we can start to clean up that top edge. Heat up a sharp knife under hot water and start to slice off any frosting that's hanging over top of the top edge. Now to start our frosting swirls, we're going to start about an inch from the edge of the cake and start to swirl up. After each swirl, you'll just add an Oreo right next to it. And we'll repeat this process all the way around the cake. Now for the swirls, as you swirl up, you're going to want to lift and build, and then make each swirl a little bit smaller than the last. And at the top of the swirl, you're just going to press down slightly and lift so you don't drag any frosting up. And now to finish your cake, you can just add some sprinkles to the top swirls or anywhere on the cake that you'd like to add them. And that's it! I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it super helpful. And I can't wait to see your gorgeous creation, so please share with me on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me to make this awesome cake.